All right, everybody, you know what time it is. The Real Talk Sports Show is coming up right now. It's coming. Here we come. I think it's coming. Looks like we're having a little technical difficulties, but we'll be on in just
Hey, sports fans, tune in for live high school football Friday, 7:30 p.m. on RealTalkSports.net. Check out your favorite Metro Atlanta teams as they do battle on the gridiron. It's your high school game of the week, live streaming free Friday nights on RealTalkSports.net. For more sports coverage and great sports talk, catch the Real Talk Sports Show Tuesdays, 8 p.m. on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or Twitch. Brought to you by Allen Vigil Ford in Morrow, a business giving back to their community. Give them a call at 678-364-3979 or check them out online at allenvigilford.net.
Hey, everybody, we're back. Hopefully, I'll be able to get this thing working before the night's over. My screen's acting crazy. Here I am. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, Mr. Jonathan Simmons, and we are back in the building. We're a little disheveled, but that's okay. We're here. Running here in from work. Just got off from Allen Vigil Ford in Lincoln. They are a title sponsor for high school football. We're going to button this up here to neck. Here we go. Now we're cooking with grease. Yes. So appreciate you guys joining us here. We're trying to get back in the groove as football season. So we want to be fairly consistent with this broadcast. We normally start at 7 o'clock, but 7:30 it is because, like I said, I'm a working man. Yes, indeed, a working man. Speaking of that, if you need a vehicle for yourself, for your family, or more importantly, for your business, I do a lot of business sales. Hit me up, 678-364-3979, or you can hit me up on the cell, 678-410-9833. Just text me for what you're looking for, and I'll do everything I can to assist you in getting yourself a vehicle for, like I said again, yourself, your family, or your business. Well, today we're going to talk really quickly about what's been cooking over the weekend. As you know, football season is in full throttle. So we had high school football, Friday night lights. We even had some high school football Saturday. And of course, we had college football all day Saturday, all day Friday. I said all day Friday, I'm sorry. We had Friday nights, all day Saturday, and then a little something something on Sunday. And we had some shockers, as we always do with college football. We had some surprises, we had some upsets. So it's very, very interesting as the season started off with a couple of big time contenders looking a little shaky and taking a loss to open up the season. And we're going to talk about that. Also, we hope to get our man, D. Orlando Ledbetter, in about 15 minutes because we are going to be shutting it down at around 8 o'clock to stay consistent with our end time. Hopefully, D. Led will be able to join us. He's man on the move doing some things. So he said he will try to join us. And hopefully and prayerfully, he will be able to do so before this hour is over. I should say half hour is over to be able to talk a little bit about what's going on with the Falcons. Because as you know, the opening game of the season is here. That'll be this Sunday against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which have won the NFC South uh, the last few years, and the Falcons are trying to break that situation. So we're going to see if the Falcons will be able to do it. We're not sure, but like I say again, there's a lot of hype around the Falcons. So I'd like to get your opinion. What do you think? Do you think the Falcons are a 10-win playoff game season, playoff team this season, or do you think we're going to get another disappointment here from the Falcons? Also, let me know what you think about what has happened in the first week of college football. Do you think this is something where hey, man, we're going to be able to see the big names get there, or like I said again, we've had some shockers. Or do we expect to see teams like Clemson, teams like Texas, teams that took losses to open the season? Where are they going to stand? So I'd like to get your opinion on that as we go through the broadcast. I'm going to go to the scoreboard in just a second and get a look here. But before we do this, we definitely want to shout out all those of you who have been subscribing to us on YouTube. We appreciate you very, very much. Those of you who subscribe to us, we're now at just 60 subscribers away from that wonderful number of 2,000. So we appreciate all those of you who have been watching us and tuning into us. Man, like I said again, this is just it's really incredible. I really appreciate you. You don't even know, how much we really appreciate you guys tuning in and checking us out here on the broadcast and supporting us, especially those of you supporters for high school football. We actually have a couple of new supporters now from out of Florida. We did a game, a thriller, Atlantic Eagles from Delray Beach, Florida, came up the road here to Jonesboro and took on the Jonesboro Cardinals. It really was, I give them credit, it was an outstanding game. It really was a great game. What happened was that Jonesboro ended up losing the game 26-20 in overtime. So, like I said, again, big shout out to all the people from Florida who tuned in to watch us for that game, and appreciate all those of you who again have helped us out as we've growing and growing and growing to that big time number of 2,000. So we appreciate you guys for joining us and for being part of this broadcast. And so, like I said again, we appreciate you very, very much for doing so. In just a moment, we're going to talk a little bit of college football. We're going to take a little reboot here for a second. We'll get you a little commercial, and then we'll be back with more of the Real Talk Sports Show. We'll be back with more of that in just a moment. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Thank you, thank you, and thank you.
Did you know that Allen Vigil Ford in Morrow, Georgia also has Lincoln? Over 35 years of using the Vigil Touch to provide excellent customer service, works hand in hand with the Lincoln Motor Company to provide a luxurious and seamless way to acquire your next luxury vehicle. Lincoln has an array of full-service complimentary owner benefits. These benefits include hospitality partnerships, service pickup and delivery, all which can be accessed through the Lincoln Way app. You can even contact the 24/7 concierge to have someone assist you. Come and see our great inventory of new and pre-owned Lincolns today. Call 678-364-7345 to make an appointment with one of our brand champions, or shop 24/7 online at allenvigillincoln.net.
We're back here, like I said, again, with the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, Mr. Jonathan Simmons. Thank you again for tuning in and joining us here on the broadcast. Let's go to some college football scores. Like I said, a lot of shockers as we went around the nation. Let's take a look at what happened yesterday, and first, I should say on Sunday. On Sunday, the Miami Hurricanes, the U, stood up to their number 5 ranking. A lot of people picked them to be in the college football playoffs this year, and they did not disappoint as they hosted the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. A lot of people talking about the old, brought up the old from the 90s Catholics and convicts. Well, the story is the convicts won. Miami holds off the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame 27-24. Notre Dame furiously came back from a 21-7 deficit in the fourth quarter, scoring 17 points to tie the game up at 24. But the Hurricanes did what they had to do to win the ball game. Carson Beck, the much ballyhooed transfer from the Georgia Bulldogs, had a decent game. 20 of 31, 205, 2 touchdown passes for Carson Beck yesterday. And really, for most of the time, he looked like the Carson Beck that Georgia took in. He did throw a pick, but he was fairly efficient. Like I said, 19 of, let me get him stats again, I'm so sorry. No picks for him, 20 of 31, 205. Really not a lot of big plays, but he made the plays when he had to. And you got to give the guy credit. He put the ball out there, made some plays. And of course, there was a spectacular catch, the one-hand OBJ impersonation by one of his wide receivers that's been must-see. It's been replayed a gazillion times on social media. Like I say again, the Hurricanes stamp an early footprint on the college football scenario for the playoffs as they knock off the Fighting Irish, who were the finalists last year in the college football playoffs, 27-24. Let's go to the games on Saturday. The Utah Utes blow out the Bruins of UCLA 43-10. SMU, who got their playoff last year, ranked number 17. They made a statement. They won 42-17 over East Texas. Let's take a look at some more top 25 teams. Arizona State. Remember, you guys, we saw him last year against Texas right here in Georgia. Took Texas into overtime before losing. Ranked number 12, so they're on the cusp of the playoffs. Well, good news. They knocked off Northern Arizona 38-19. Ole Miss. They did it to our hometown guys. The Georgia State Panthers went down to Ole Miss and got shellacked 63-7. Clemson, here's one of our first shockers of the day. I shouldn't say one of our first, but certainly a notable shocker. Clemson hosting LSU. gets taken down by the Bayou Bengals 17-10 as LSU now moves up to the number 3 spot in the early, really too early college football rankings. Another SEC team, Oklahoma, handled their business against Illinois State 35-3. They're ranked number 18. Florida State, another team that shook up the world, went into the game unranked against a top 10 ranked Alabama team, and Alabama loses handily to Florida State 31-17. Alabama drops out of the top 20 into the 21 slot. I got to tell you, man, the Crimson Tide looked flat, not fluffy. The energy was not there. The stick it, the drive that you normally see with Alabama team was sorely missing in that game yesterday, and they go down 31-17 to a Florida State team who's trying to reclaim some of the glory they had from a couple of years ago. Remember, a couple of years ago, this was a team that felt that they were improperly shut out of the college football scenario to the point where they were trying to leave the ACC. They were so irritated. Then the next year, they came out and stunk up the joint last year. Well, it looks like they're trying to make a statement that, hey, this year we're going to play our way into the playoffs as they move to the 14th spot after being unranked going into that ball game. Another SEC team, Texas, loses to the Ohio State Buckeyes. Texas came into that game the number 1 ranked team in the country with a guy that was an early favorite for the Heisman Trophy. And I'm talking about the guy that's got the lineage, Arch Manning. Well, Manning ran to a steamroller against one of the best defenses in the nation with Ohio State. Manning's stats were serviceable, 17 of 30, but only 170 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. And most of the time, he looked out of sorts as the Ohio State Buckeyes shut out the Longhorns until late in the fourth quarter, where, in fact, Manning finally got a 32-yard touchdown to Parker Livingstone with about three minutes to go. But it wasn't enough as the Texas Longhorns get shut down by the Ohio State Buckeyes 14-7. Here's the thing about this game is a lot of people are now saying, oh, we overhyped Arch Manning and, this guy was overrated. Look, at the end of the day, it's like this. I don't care who it was. I mean, you're in a situation where you're playing against the defending national champions. You're in a situation where you are playing one of the best defenses in the league, not to make excuses for him, but it was too much. And he got overwhelmed, did the best he could. He accounted for about 200 yards of total offense. He ran the ball 10 times for 38 yards. Like I said, again, 170 yards passing, but really, for most of the time, the Texas offense looked pretty stagnant. They did run the ball fairly well. Wisner, 16 carries for 80 yards. And C.J. Baxter had 10 carries for 40 yards. So they averaged right around 4.5 yards a carry, but it just wasn't enough as Arch Manning could not get on track in the passing game. Meanwhile, give the Longhorns defense some credit. I mean, because Ohio State couldn't do anything either. If you look at their stats, they're worse than Texas. Their quarterback, Julian Sam, 13-20, he only had 126 yards, 1 touchdown. He ran the ball twice for 2 yards. C.J. Donaldson, 19 carries, 67 yards. James Peoples, only 10 carries of 20 yards. So the Longhorns defense kept them in that ball game. But like I said, again, it was just too much for Arch Manning to overcome the pressure of playing against one of the best college football defenses in the country as Texas goes down to the Ohio State Buckeyes 14-7. Let's look at a few more scores and wrap up what happened in college football over the weekend. Let's take a peek here. Illinois. Here's a team everybody's been buzzing about. The Illini roll over Western Illinois on a Friday night special, 52-3 of Western Illinois. This Illini team, they might be the real deal. I mean, they might be the real situation. Look at their quarterback, Luke Altmaier, 17-21, 217, 3 touchdowns. 31-0 at the half, 38-0 after 3 quarters. I know you're saying, hey, well, who's Western Illinois? I don't care if they're, Jimmy and the hot dogs. When you roll up, 52 points on a college football team, you're doing some business. So kudos to the Illini for showing that the preseason hype was not just hype. They appear to be legit. Let's look at some more stats for the Illini. Like I said, again, their quarterback, Altmaier, 217 in the air, 17-21. He only had 4 incompletions, 3 touchdowns. Their Receivers were explosive. Lockery, 9 catches, 101 yards, 2 touchdowns. Caden Fagan, 13 receptions, 74 yards, and a touchdown as well. And on the ground, Frank Beatty, excuse me, I'm so sorry, guys, got that a little backwards. That was Lockery rushing, 9 for 100, 11.2 yards a carry. Fagan, 13 carries, 74 yards, 5.7 yards a carry. And Valentine, 9 carries for 51 yards, also 5.1 yards a carry as the Illini roll. Meanwhile, now let me get to the receivers' information. Frank Beatty, 5 catches, 108 yards in the air. Justin Bobwick was the star as far as receiving touchdowns. He only had 3 receptions, but 2 of them for TDs. And Malik Easley, 2 receptions for 25 yards. So, yeah, the Illini were just dominant that whole ball game, and look for them to make some noise in the Big Ten. So, really, a game we have to look for if they're on the schedule. I do believe the Illini play the All-State Buckeyes. So that should be a very, very interesting game going forward. Meanwhile, back here in our backyard, let's talk about 2 teams that play right near us. First of all, the Georgia Bulldogs, a team that people are just kind of saying, well, they're probably a top 5 or 6 team. Don't know if they're going to contend necessarily for the national title. As always, Kirby had his boys up against, Marshall. But nevertheless, at home, 24-0 at the half, 38-0 at the end of 3 quarters. The Dogs finally give up a touchdown late as they roll over the Marshall Thundering Herd, 45-7. Gunnar Stockton, the guy was as advertised. He put up some nice numbers for the Bulldogs. He was kind of really a main part of the offensive story. In the air, somewhat efficient, 14-24, 2 touchdowns, but more importantly, no interceptions. And he led the Bulldogs in rushing, 10 carries for 73 yards and 2 touchdowns. So Stockton accounted for 4 touchdowns, 24 of the 45 Bulldog points. And I tell you what, this is kind of significant. As you guys know, the Bulldogs traditionally do not really like or have not really brought in dual threat quarterbacks. They had a guy back in the 90s who's a coach here, actually in the Atlanta area, Quincy Carter, that gave you some of that. But Carter really had a big arm, and also a DJ Shockley. But the same thing, Shockley had, these guys to spin it. And they really weren't necessarily known as quote-unquote dual threat quarterbacks, even though they technically were. But Gunnar Stockton, he's, like I said, he's the first guy really at Georgia that really gives them that quote-unquote honest-to-goodness dual threat quarterback. Like I said, 190 in the air, 73 on the ground, 2 touchdown passes, 2 rushing touchdowns. So look for this kind of new way of Georgia getting after people being something that could propel them into the situation of what's going on. So I just got an update here. D. Orlando Ledbetter will be joining us, and he was kind enough to tell me that, yes, the Illini play the All-State Buckeyes on October the 11th. So all eyes will be on that game because that could be an early precursor of who's going to be the actual champions of the Big Ten. Okay, we're going to take a break, and then we're going to talk some Falcons football with the one and only legend, D. Orlando Ledbetter. Keep it locked right here for more of the Real Talk Sports Show.
Are you in the market for a new vehicle? Well, check out Allen Vigil Ford Lincoln in Morrow, Georgia. We have one of the largest inventories in our area for both new and pre-owned vehicles, so we're sure to have something for everyone. Family owned and operated since 1982, customer satisfaction is our #1 priority. Come see our full lineup of vehicles and find the one that best fits you. Give us a call today, 678-726-5739, or shop us 24/7 online at allenvigilford.net.
All right, guys, we're back here with the second half of the Real Talk Sports Show. Again, I'm your host, Minister Jonathan Simmons, and we're going to talk a little Falcons football. We haven't talked Falcons for a while because we've had to take a little break away from the show, but good news. We're going to talk Falcons tonight, and you know why? We have the guy who is the embedded beat writer for the AJC for the Atlanta Falcons. He is a legendary Hall of Fame sports writer, and he is Esquire par excellence. I'm talking about the one and only D. Orlando Ledbetter is back in the building. D-Led, what's going on, sir?
Hey, Reverend, thanks for having me back on the show. Just
hey,
getting
man,
ready
good to have you, sir.
Over here.
Yes, sir. We're running the skeleton crew. It's just me by my lonesome tonight. Miss Tree is not with us, but that's okay. Again, the fact that I can bring you back on, man, it's just great to see you.
Awesome. Likewise, Reverend. Great to see you.
So listen, D-Led, I haven't had a chance to get to the camp. I've been putting a lot of hours on our title sponsor for high school football, Mr. Allen Vigil, so haven't gone anywhere. But the camp has been buzzing. We've had fights. We've even had the quarterback get into a fight. For you, what can we look at this Falcons team? Is this a team that legitimately has a chance to go to the playoffs? If so, why? And if not, why?
Yeah, it's a team that has a chance to go to the playoffs. The main competition is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They've won the last 4 in a row. But for that to happen, the Falcons need Michael Penix to have a really good season. It doesn't have to be as good as Jaden Daniels last year, but he has to be on that level or going in that direction. And then also that'll buy the defense some time to get ready. You're going to have a lot of new starters over there. So a lot of work to be done playing tackle football. They don't tackle much in exhibition season, don't even play. And just doesn't make sense when you turn over 35.8% of your roster. So it's going to be a pretty new team going out there this year. And it might not look that good early on.
Yeah, so speaking of defense here, once again, Falcons, it seems like every year they have some type of situation with injuries. Of course, we know that Braylon Trice, again, seems like he's going to miss an entire season after missing a season last year with an injury. And we haven't seen a whole lot of Javon Walker. Tell us a little bit about those two guys, and then tell us, are we overhyping the young man from Tennessee coming off the edge?
Yeah, no doubt. But I think Coach put a damper on that tonight. Both of those guys are listed as second teamers behind Arnold Ebiketie and Leonard Floyd. So, the rookies got to learn how to play in the NFL. And you saw them take it slow with the rookies last year. So, there's a lot of rookies don't come in and dominate. So it's unreasonable to expect them to be able to do that. But they're going to play and they'll get out there, and we'll see if they can help this pass rush in the immediate future and then long term.
Yeah, I mean, like I said again, there's been a lot of hype. I'm like you. I'm still kind of baffled to why. Everybody talks about it. It's insanity to do the same thing again and again, expect a different result. This, I believe, is the 4th consecutive season where the Falcons decided to virtually not play their stars at all. And what we've gotten has been, 7-10, 7-10, 7-10, 8-9. So I'm kind of confused to why they still are taking this concept of just not getting these guys any time on the field.
Yeah, it's a new age approach. A lot of the older coaches, Andy Reid, he plays his players. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, Chris Jones, they play. They don't play a lot, but they play. They get them revved up and ready to go for a season. The Falcons clearly have some injury mitigation data that they're clinging on to that says it's okay to not get ready for football by playing tag at practice, basically. So, and you got a quarterback who's only played 3 games. So, we'll see if this is a strategy that works. There are only 6% of the teams that did not play their starting quarterback at all, and a couple of those were because of injury. So, this is definitely some Zen football stuff that the Falcons are clinging on to. Maybe they're going to run some incense through the locker room and go at it that way. But when this team takes the field for the 22 starters, 11 on both sides of the ball, it's gonna be the first time ever. So yeah, we don't understand that, but that's what they have elected to do.
All right, so far in your eyes, who have been kind of the standouts on offense first? Guys that you say, hey, you know what, this guy could be, an impact player going forward in 2025-26 season.
Yeah, we were talking about Illinois. Casey Washington, the second-year guy, 6th-round pick. He has got a lot of action because Darnell Mooney's been down, and it's looked pretty good. So he's the guy I got my eye on because folks are going to gravitate to Drake London and Pitts, and then Casey is a pretty fast guy. He's got a shot to get open down the field, and he's also doing a great job as a gunner on the special team. So he's one to keep an eye on because teams are going to gang up on those other guys. And you're gonna need Casey Washington and Ray McLeod to make some catches for you. And I think they can do that. So those would be the guys to keep an eye on here early on as the Falcons, get Darnell Mooney all the way back. Another kid is David Seals, the fourth, former high school quarterback. He's got an interesting history, but he's ran some good routes too there. But he's listed as a third teamer on the depth chart.
Yeah, I like Casey Washington. I was I don't want to say shocked, but I thought they were going to play him a little bit more even last year. I know he had some injury issues, but yeah, I liked him for the first time I saw him. He just seemed like he had good hands. Um, a guy that like you said, has some speed. So definitely, yeah, I'm with you. I hopefully see more of him this year as well. All right, now how about on defense? Who are some of the guys that we can look forward to defense? Maybe give me a name that's not so obvious. Everybody's talking about the edge rushers. Obviously, we got Walker and we got the young man out of Tennessee, and we have Leonard Floyd. But who else do you think might make an impact on this team on the defensive side of the ball?
Yeah, up front, Brandon Dorless, who didn't play at all last year, I think 2 games. He won the starting job to replace Grady Jarrett. So they've seen something in him that they want to, see again, and he's gonna get the start out there. So that's a guy that he was kind of buzzing throughout camp, but we never got to see him do it in the game. So he's one guy to keep an eye on. And another one is the signing of Devon Diablo. He has the greatest name on the team. To play inside linebacker next to Caden Ellis. He's a big, rangy guy, can cover. We shouldn't see the running backs and tight ends pulling away from him like we did with Nate Landman last year. So that's going to make your defense a little bit tougher if you got an inside linebacker that's not a weak link.
Yeah, man, everybody talking about this kid Diablo. I never heard of him. Obviously, came from the Raiders, but they're highly touted. But basically, what you're telling me is that hey, this guy is worth the ticket. He can do some work. And the Falcons really, D-Leg, gets down to the same thing every single year. I don't care about quarterback pressures. I don't care about hurries. The question is, can we actually sack the quarterback this year? Can we get to somewhere around 40 sacks? Do you think we can actually get that? About 2.5 sacks a game. Is that possible with this team?
I don't know, Jonathan. We haven't seen him play. The guys that we saw playing are at home right now. Some of them on the practice squad, so we don't know if they got a pass rush. They got a lot of people. They put a lot of resources into it. After the 4th game, we'll know. We can do the numbers. If they don't have any sacks against Tampa Bay, Minnesota, Washington, and I believe it's Buffalo. Well, Buffalo might be 5th, but anyway, after Carolina, then Buffalo. So after the bye. So, at the bye week, you know what you got. And, and if you don't like it, the trading deadline's coming up. So then you got to start moving some people out of here and, maybe making some deals to ramp up that pass rush.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. Like I said, again, I'm still baffled to every year we keep going through this with them not playing people. One last thing here. So now we talk about Penix, need to have a good year. What are your thoughts about kind of the injury the Falcons have had, especially Caleb McGarry, who even though he's not a tremendous pass blocker, certainly great run blocker, and he's on that side that would be in essence trying to protect his blind side. And from what I've seen, the Falcons haven't really, unless you have some inside, brought somebody to the table that can really replace him. Is there a guy there in that camp now that you think, okay, he can at least be serviceable until we can maybe, like you said, pick up somebody in a trade?
Yeah, well, they did all that. They picked up somebody in trade, Mike Jarrell, kid who was drafted by Seattle in the 6th round out of Division II Finley. So he's a athletic former basketball player, guy that they can develop. They think the short-term answer is Elijah Wilkinson, who's played 10 years, be his 10th year in the league. He started with Denver for a while, Chicago, 1 year with Arizona. His grade over all that time is a 60. So, that's a D. So you're not really expecting him to be, all world for over the season, but maybe he can give you 4 or 5 games while you're getting the other kid ready. So that's where you are. That's the 3rd string tackle because you lost your 1st and 2nd. So now you're down to the 3rd tackle. And that's Elijah Wilkerson, who's played 45 starts, 79 games. So at least you're not throwing a rookie out there like Jack Nelson from Wisconsin. So you're in a little better place, or Jalen Mayfield that they had to run out there a couple years back. So you're at least in a better place where you got a functional veteran who at least knows what he's supposed to do, and I think has enough sense to grab the guy if he gets around him.
Yeah, to prevent somebody getting killed. Well, there you go.
Exactly.
Well, we wanted to make this a short show tonight. So as we do, we always have a guest. We want to let people know about how they can find more about you. So, D. Orlando Ledbetter, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I'm going to need the fans to go to my Twitter account at DOrlandoAJC. And at the top, you can sign up for our new newsletter, the Dirty Birds Dispatch. You'll get that every Thursday in your email inbox at 10 a.m. We're going to preview the upcoming game and have you all ready to go for when the Falcons take the field on Sundays. Thanks a lot, Reverend.
Thanks a lot, D-Led. See you next time.
All right.
Thanks our guy, D. Orlando Ledbetter, was in the building. Appreciate him for joining us tonight. Appreciate you for joining us here on our short version of the Real Talk Sports Show. Listen, everybody, please follow us anywhere on social media at Real Talk Sports, the number 7. You can follow me personally at Minister J. Sim. We'd love to interact with you as well as we move our way back into doing some sports coverage in the fall. Feeling a little bit better right now. Thanking the Lord for that. Speaking of thanking the Lord, you know, the minister can never leave you without letting you know that, hey, there is a God and he is in love with you. And he has a wonderful place for you to go to when you leave this world called heaven. But you're not going to get there unless you repent of your sin and believe in his son, Jesus, who is the Christ. If you do that, 2 great things happen. Number 1, you become a citizen of the kingdom of heaven. And number 2, you become an adopted child of God with all the rights therein. That means you can now go to God like a heavenly parent, ask him for what you need or desire, and according to his will, he'll give it to you. And when you die, you go to that wonderful place called heaven, where it's spectacular, it's beautiful. It's every building adorned with the most spectacular and beautiful jewels you can think of. As a matter of fact, the streets are paved with a gold that's so pure, it's translucent. And guess what? There's no more pain, no more dying, no pandemic, no bad people anywhere. You never get old. Like I said, you never die, you never cry. And you now are in heaven with all the angels and God himself and Jesus Christ. You can actually see him face to face. And you avoid that nasty place called hell, where all the things I just mentioned won't be there. Matter of fact, it's the opposite. You're in with the devil, all his demonic hosts, all the most evil people ever in the world, is horrible, is painful, and most of all, you're cut off from God and Jesus Christ, all the people of love forever and a day. I don't know about you, but I like option number 1 instead of option number 2. All right, guys, until we get back together again, we simply say as we do each week, God bless you, and we have a wonderful rest of the day or evening, whichever may apply. So long, and take care.
Hey, sports fans, tune in for live high school football Friday, 7:30 p.m. on RealTalkSports.net. Check out your favorite Metro Atlanta teams as they do battle on the gridiron. It's your high school game of the week, live streaming free Friday nights on Real